All right, guys, welcome to the first episode of Mostly Mulligans podcast edition. How about that? Today we're here with Ahert, aka Matt, and Rubix, aka Dave, and
Oh, what's cooking?
we're gonna be talking about Modern Horizons 3, as you can see on the screen in the bottom right corner there. Uh, so first, we're going to be looking into the set itself, the boxes, the prices. Is it worth it? Is it worth it to buy these? Obviously, all these prices are going to be pre-sale prices. We're going to be. I'm using TCG Player for prices just because that's our baseline, uh, and that will show us the market price as well. And then we'll go into looking at the spoilers that have been revealed so far. What cards are worth getting? Um, do we think the value is going to hold up? And then we'll start looking into the commander decks as far as what we play. All of us play commander. This is a modern set, so it's going to be modern legal. But is the value there? Is it going to be worth it in the long term? So we'll start with the. I don't know if anyone's interested in the play boosters. Let's be honest. As far as it,
Oh,
I mean, let's talk about that, right?
Well,
Play
you have to
boosters.
be.
Play
play
It's
boosters.
just
Yeah, you don't really have another choice. If you're
Yeah.
looking
you
for a
Well, I
cheaper
mean,
way to get into the set, that's it.
that's
That's the
it.
only
That's
option
it.
you
I
have
mean, do
now.
you like to draft? Play boosters. Do you
do we
like
Yeah.
not?
to open cards? Play boosters.
Yeah.
We don't have an option for draft or set anyway, right? It's
I
just
mean, yeah,
now
it's
Yeah,
just play
play.
just the
boosters now. They
plays. Yeah.
combined them up, so
Yeah.
they are the same thing. So as far as the price, 264.05. Market price is 264.23 according to TCG Player. All right, you walk into a shop, right? Promise you, they're not selling it for 264. They're not. They're not. Maybe you can get it on TCG, but even after taxes, you're spending what, $300 roughly,
Right.
Probably. Yeah, you're probably
pretty
getting
close.
close to $300. Yeah.
So is $300 worth? What is it? Is it usually 24 packs now?
It's
It's
24, I
36.
think.
36
Oh, it's
is
36?
yeah,
That's even a better
yeah,
deal.
yeah. So 36 packs at $300 for the box.
Well, so when me and Joey were thinking about making like buying the boxes and stuff like that, because he was going to split it with his friend,
Mm-hmm.
he suggested he's like, oh, we could just split it three of us, and splitting a play booster between the three of us was like $83 and something cents,
Mm-hmm.
and it gave you I think 12 packs. And I was like, well, a pre-release for 6 is 40, right? So that's not terrible.
It's $63 for a pre-release box.
See, that's crazy, but I'm
That
saying
seems pretty high. Yeah.
That seems
like
really
in
high.
that breakup, that's not terrible cuz
It's
$40,
it's not
$40,
it's
you
not
know.
bad. Here's my thing, right? Play If you're buying the play boosters, if you're not drafting with it, you're already fucking up. It like they're
Pretty much. Yeah.
it's a way to play with the cards that you're opening. And if you want to work out a deal like how Matt was saying, if you want to work out a deal with your group and you're like, "Hey, we all split it three ways and then, you guys we all get to keep the cards we pull." And then it's like, "Okay, well then are we doing sealed or are we doing draft? Because if we're drafting, I'm just going to be hunting expensive cards." Like, let's be real.
Yeah.
That's what
True.
you're going to. So, at that point then you're going to do a sealed draft instead, as if it was a pre-release event. And then you have a better chance of actually getting good cards. You have not necessarily a more consistent deck, but you're able to play with the cards that you're opening, so you're getting more value out of it. But is it worth almost $300?
See, and to kind of play off of that too, some people want to buy these booster packs and stuff, not even with the idea of playing with them. Some people just want to open them. And at that point, if you're spending $85 to open 12 play boosters,
Yeah,
that's the equivalent of, I think they're going to be going for like two collector boosters at the moment. They're probably around $40, so
I think so. I have collector boosters on TCG at 38.69 for pre-sale. Obviously, the prices could go up and down.
yeah.
Probably gonna
That's
go up because it's a modern
hmm
set. Let's
that's
be
So
real.
$10
at
over.
that point, if you're spending, if you're spending $80 anyways on buying 12 play boosters just to get the cards, you might as well just get the collector boosters because at a value standpoint, those play boosters aren't going to have shit
Yeah.
all
Well, I mean,
inside of them,
unless you're pulling like the best cards in the set, you know what I mean? Because like you think about it from a modern standpoint, right? Modern is competitive. People play it to for money. Deck deck building is very specific when it comes to, tournament play. If you're going to run foils, you have to make sure they're all foil. So, I think that comes into play with this set specifically. You know what I mean? Cuz like standard's dead. I mean, let's be standard's dead. Nobody watches, nobody cares. I mean, cool. It's very fun for people. They play arena now. I think is the big way to play it. Not a lot of, from what, at least what I've seen. I don't really follow that scene that much, but arena's like the new thing. So like you don't have to worry about the restrictions of like, oh well, this card's bent, or you're using the wrong sleeves, or your all your cards aren't like all that stuff doesn't play a factor. Whereas modern, on the other hand, a lot of people still play paper modern in tournaments, and they aren't going to be looking for foils. They're going to be looking for the cards that fit into the deck the best that they can. So
True, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that if somebody's gonna be wanting to play one of these, random uncommons that are inside the Modern Horizons 3 set, they're not gonna want to foil one because it'll
yeah,
get warped because
ex-
the quality on the foiling is awful.
exact. Which that's a whole other
A whole
problem.
other
It's
issue.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I bought a box of uh, Thunder Junction, and I opened it like a week after, 2 weeks after I bought it, and like I swear every single card was like pretty warped.
Warped.
Yeah, like honestly, I could probably. I'm not gonna pull one out, but I could pull one out and show you. It's just it's nuts. It is crazy how warped these cards are. And secret layers, dude. I don't think
Oh
I've
yeah.
bought a secret layer in a while that hasn't already been warped on receiving the product.
I haven't looked at a secret layer in a minute.
I checked them
Mhm.
out. Every drop I checked them out. Also, the quality of secret layers has significantly dropped with the cards you're getting. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it
very
used to
much
be
so.
worth it, very much worth it to just be like, "Oh, I'm going to buy the whole catalog." You know what I mean? Like they have like the foiled out bundle or the non-foil or whatever,
Hmm.
it used to be very much worth it, but it is not like that anymore. You might find one or two cards out of the bundle that you actually want, and then you're forced to buy the other four cards that come with it, and you're like, ugh, this is just not worth it. Like people are on the aftermarket. That's where you want to look if you're really like, oh, I really want this card. Unless you're in love with the art and you have like a deck that you're like, oh man, this would look really good in that. Not worth it. It's just not. And I hate to say it because I love secret layers. It's not worth the price. It really isn't.
Yeah.
No, that's still cool. It still
It
looks
it, it
cool.
is very cool.
It is, yeah, and I'm sure they'll always, come out with one that's gonna look awesome and stuff like that. I think the kind of way that they're doing with Secret Layers right now is they're just fucking throwing everything at the wall and
Mhm.
hoping something sticks for somebody. They're making so many just random niche,
Yeah. Well,
fun-looking Secret Layers that somebody's gonna want this.
yeah. Have you guys noticed? This was a big thing that they talked about. It's no longer print to demand. It's a limited print run. They have X amount of
They had to
cards.
do that.
I mean, they had to because it drives the prices more.
Well,
It's not.
it
It's
made the
not
only
in.
reason to get it.
Yes, it
Yeah,
makes, yes, 100%. It
It's the
drives
only
it
reason to get
drives
it.
the people to get them so that they're making more money, essentially. It's not about the player, it's about the money that they're making, which, as a business, obviously, you know what I mean. Like they're not, they care about the player base and the facts that if they didn't, they wouldn't be making enough money. So
yeah,
that's really
Right,
what it
right.
comes down to. And I
yeah.
don't
I
know
guess.
if this is a Wizards thing or if it's more of a Hasbro thing. I would like to believe that it's a Hasbro thing and that Wizards actually cares about their players. But at the end of the day, like they're one and the same. They're the same. They're the same entity. So, which brings me to my next point. Collector booster box, almost $400.
Almost 400. At least you're getting 12 packs this time.
That's
Uh,
you're not wrong. You are getting 12 packs, but is it worth it for those 12 packs? Is $400? Are you gonna make your money back plus extra from
so
opening a
Well,
box?
you have the Eldrazi's in there. You have the medallions in there.
I
mhm.
mean but the medallions are
The
getting cheap.
medallions,
They're getting cheap.
they're getting cheap, but the art is
See,
probably the some of the best art that I have seen for medallions to date.
The
and
medallions look really cool.
and that's really
They're
where it's gonna come into
gorgeous.
play with Commander. I think is
There's
is the
probably an
art
etched
variants.
version for the medallions specifically
So
that's
I
gonna make
art
them worth it.
is there etch
I
cards in
don't think
this?
there. Yes, there is etched, but I don't think there's etched medallions. I've only
Okay.
seen the borderless
Okay,
medallions.
yeah.
Even
Holy shit, the fetch lands are in this.
yeah, the fetchlands are in this
Yeah,
as well.
Whoa!
Fetchland. It's a modern set. That's a huge part of
Oh!
modern. Yeah. So and there's also
Dude,
serialized cards. I
we
guess that's
knew
the new
that,
thing
that
that they're
made
doing.
I
sense.
think
I'm
okay, when it
I'm
comes to
good with that.
serialized cards, I think you just don't even count them
Yeah.
because they're just so random. You have no
I
chance, right?
think they're
I
good.
mean, it
I
says
like
less
them.
than 1% of boosters. So
Yeah, yeah.
hypothetically,
Dude,
You can
these are
open
so
you can
good.
open fucking 10 of these collector booster displays and not get a single one,
exactly.
right? So,
Yes, exactly.
but
Yeah, so I mean, I love foil etch cards. I really wish that they would have put the textured foil cards in this though.
yeah, I
Textured
see.
foil
Like
cards
the
are so clean.
So, is everything revealed at the
No,
moment?
no.
no, not everything is
The
revealed
Oh,
yet.
pre-release is the 7th. Today is the 27th for those watching.
well, with everything out, right? A lot of the Eldrazi's that are being reprinted are amazing.
Yeah,
A lot of
I mean, the new
the new
Eldrazi's are
the
Eldrazi's,
good
new
yeah,
too.
Eldrazi's are
are
amazing.
crazy.
The medallions are amazing.
Yeah.
The fetch lands, just having those coming in with their different the different styles and all that is going to
Hmm.
be a nice like sight to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I
And then
agree.
all
Yeah.
the legendaries, like I've been reading through some of these legendaries, and they are some of the best. Like
They're pretty insane.
I am
Yeah.
going to definitely be making a few of these because they look amazing. I mean, some of them I believe are reprints.
Hmm.
Uh, unless I'm wrong. Like I don't know. Like I'm pretty sure Arna Skycapped is a reprint, right?
I'm pretty sure you said
I'd
Arna
have to.
Sky Captain.
That's the flying
Oh, Arnie
lifelink.
Sky
Yeah.
Captain. I think so.
Or discard.
That's not it.
Discard a card. Whenever a modified creature you control is attacked, double the number of each kind of counters on it. Then, if each non-token permanent attached to it, create a token that's a copy of that permanent attached to that creature.
I don't know if that's a reprint or not. To be
Dude,
honest with you.
if it's not, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because this is amazing. That is an amazing card. I want to make it so bad, and that's what dude. Going through some of these is amazing. Like the dwarf, fabricate one. Other non-token creatures you control have fabricate one.
Hmm.
Two, tap, choose one, proliferate or populate.
Yeah.
That's the fade mechanic
Yeah, that's pretty good.
or mechanist. My bad.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's for $300, right? 300 plus
Almost
tax,
almost
Closer to
400.
4. You're
Yes.
probably going to be
almost
at 4
400.
after tax. Yeah,
Yeah.
for
If you're
12
buying from
boosters.
TCG player. We'll
So,
specify that.
what is current Modern Horizons 2? Isn't it? Because that's
Modern
the Purple
Horizons 2
Dragon,
is
right? Isn't it
expensive.
$700,
Yeah.
$800,
Yeah,
right?
I don't know if it's that much.
And that
Modern
had fours.
Horizons. I know that Commander Legends is up there.
Well, that's something else.
So the collector box for Modern Horizons 2 is $334 off TCG Player.
Yeah,
And then the set boosters are 209 and draft boosters are 179.95.
So,
I could see it going for about this much. I definitely it's definitely gonna go down,
Mm-hmm.
but
I mean,
I would say like
I can definitely see it going
350
down.
makes a
I could
lot of
see it going down later.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna go down soon. It's definitely gonna stay pretty high for a little bit.
It's always going to be stay high, whenever around when it gets first released and everything.
Yeah, I mean, so as far as what I my expectation is, if I walked into a shop today, and I haven't done this yet, so I don't know. If I walked into a shop today and I'm like, "Hey, I want to put a pre-order in for Modern Horizons 3." I'm not leaving without paying $400 plus. That's what they're going to be selling it for
Yeah.
because I mean,
Yeah.
MSRP is not a thing anymore. They got rid of
Right.
that. So the retailer can just be like, they'll buy it and they'll buy it because it's been consistent throughout the last
Hmm.
2 years. Wizards put something out, people buy it, it costs way more than it's worth, you're losing a bunch of money for the chance at getting whatever $200 card possibly could be in there, sometimes even less than that. I mean, let's talk about Baldur's Gate.
Hmm.
Baldur's Gate dog shit. If you weren't
I
pulling
mean,
the Copper Dragon, it really wasn't worth it. The prices have
yeah, but
changed
you're
now.
you're comparing fucking like apples to ants
Okay,
here,
well then
right? Like
let's talk
Modern
about Double
Horizons
Masters
3
then.
Double Masters. Yeah, well, I mean, again, that's a whole different beast. Double Masters is literally a set that's meant to be expensive. That's
Well,
the whole point. There's the extra
but
rare
Modern
slot and everything.
Horizons is the same thing. Modern Horizons is a reprint set with new cards.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is. It's not.
There's yeah, but there's also 303 new cards.
Is there really that many new
Yeah.
cards?
I looked it up because I was curious. I'm like, look, how much is there? Uh, like Modern Horizons and Modern Horizons 2, before this set introduces a total of 303 new cards into the
Jesus.
So
modern
I don't.
and internal formats without them even ever being legal and standard.
I don't know if I really like that though. I think I would rather there be less cards and more reprints because
Hmm.
at least
Well,
as far as reprints go, I know that I'm going to get something that's worth it because you know what I mean?
right. But I think that's the difference, right? Because Double Masters is like reprint galore.
Yeah,
You're
that was
getting
just a
you're
reprint set.
getting
That is a reprint
reprints.
set. Yeah.
You're getting the pretty versions of them. You're getting
Hmm.
all
Mhm.
of that it's just a gas set. Where
Mhm.
this is, hey, we are that, but instead of reprints, we're getting new cards. Because
Yeah.
that's what I'm getting the impression of is
Mhm.
that like, all right, this is all the new heavy hitters. This is all the new blood that's being brought to the table,
Yeah.
and we're giving it some nice flavor and spin to it. Um, and then, you know, so $400, like,
Mhm. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Um,
but it is what it is.
and like also kind of comparing like you were saying of you'd rather have more reprints and stuff like that in the set, and I
Mhm.
totally agree with that. One of my biggest issues with this set, especially if you're trying to pull big, if you're trying to go for kind of like a not necessarily investing because buying singles is always going to be the best way of investing. But if you're
Obviously.
trying to pull bigger cards, you just want to have the fun of pulling something expensive out of a pack, then you get a collector's booster. If
Mhm.
you're not hitting an Eldrazi in this set, you're hitting nothing.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
You're
I mean,
you're
there are some
there's
really good
there's
cards in this
there's a
set.
few there's a few that are good cards that
Mhm.
are pretty pricey and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But for the most part, unless you're hitting an Eldrazi, you're not making up the
You're not
price
me.
of
Yeah,
this
you're
pack.
not. Yeah, you're not. Exactly. Like I'll use this as an example, right? And I know that we've already determined, double masters not the same thing. I totally agree.
Right.
I'm playing a little bit of devil's advocate here, but when I open, I bought 2 boxes of double masters, 2022, I think is what it was when it came out, uh, and I pulled the foil etched, I believe it was Kozilek, uh, and that made up the entire price of one of those boxes.
Hmm.
If
Right.
I wouldn't have pulled that card, I would have gotten nothing. It would have not. I would have been pretty upset. And especially out of 4 packs, this at least you're
Hmm.
getting 12 for about the same price that I paid for those boxes. You know,
I I felt the hurt from it because
you
my
did.
four
Yeah,
packs
you did. I remember
were
this. We
pretty
talked
fucking
about it.
trash. I
Yeah.
only made it up because my like fifth pack that I bought from the store was Imperial Seal. But if it
Yes.
wasn't for that, I was pretty fucking upset that I
Hmm.
spent $200 on 4 packs of Magic cards. And how many? Well, that's actually a good question. How many packs is this box?
The
The
collector's is
collector's
12.
box is 12. Yeah, it is 12. So it's 12 packs, 15 cards, two foil etch cards, 10 to 12 traditional foil, 5 cards of rare or higher, which is good. 3 to 5 uncommon, 4 to 6 common, and then one possible land card,
Yeah,
not
that's
guaranteed. And then serialized cards, which we've already talked about. We're just not going to count
Hmm.
that
because
because
this
less than
sounds
1%.
100% like Wizards of the Coast stared at it and was like, "This is the in between of uh Masters
Mm-hmm.
and some regular set," and was like, "Here's the price point." Because even
Yeah.
stepping that back, that makes it $100 for 3 packs compared to Double Masters, which was $200, 250 for 4 packs. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's really they're going for that middle ground. And I'm forgetting like all kinds of the new stuff that they put in this because didn't they just add as well in this set? They added the cards that were like kind of like the commander ones, where it's like if you have your commander, you can do this for free.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
it's the
They did.
sacrifice, and you get
Yeah. They have
whatever.
the new counter spell one. I
It's like
remember seeing
Flare
that.
for
Yeah.
Fortitude is the white
That
one.
that's a good segue into looking at some of the spoilers. So we'll just do that.
That's what
And
I'm
then
saying. These
we
well,
can
we
we can
we
come
have to.
back. Yeah.
There's it's what brings the value to those
So
packs
Hmm.
because like
so
Solitude,
yeah. I mean
like
Solitude, Fury. I mean Fury. I'm pretty sure
like
was that
like
banned
I
in
want
modern
to.
or was that banned in standard?
I think it was banned in
No, it
modern
has to be
actually.
modern, right? Because it wasn't
Yeah,
standard
I think that
legal.
was banned in
Yeah.
modern. So then
So
they
I
were like,
mean, yeah,
"Fuck them, we're
yeah.
still
I mean,
bringing
Fury's a really good card,
it."
but
Oh, there it is, Flare of Denial.
yeah, yeah,
You sack a
Yeah, you may
creature, you counter a spell.
see that's solid. That's amazing. And otherwise, it's a 3 cost counter spell, which is already not that bad.
Yeah.
yeah. And
So
pre-sale prices is going for 34.22. Uh,
and that's why I want to like what Dave was talking about, where he's like, "Oh yeah, you kind of only want to pull an Eldrazi, and that's about it." That's how it felt with Double Masters.
yeah.
Double
Hmm.
Masters, you need the Eldrazi or something insane, or you're
Hmm.
not getting anything. Where in here, honestly, if I pulled Flare of Denial,
I'd be happy for
I'd be
sure.
pretty
I'd be pretty
stoked.
happy, especially because it's a new card, and
Right,
it's a
Yeah.
new
and
free
if
counter
I pull
spell.
any of these legendaries, I'd be pretty stoked.
Yeah,
Like
Now,
a lot of these cards are pretty stoked. There is a lot of fodder.
a lot of chaff. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
So,
like, man, this is weird.
with this set too, I will
Mm.
say because I'm a big art guy. I love the art on Magic cards,
Hmm.
and this set in particular, I think has some of the coolest fucking art I've ever seen on a
Yeah,
Magic card,
Right,
and also some of the stupidest fucking art I've ever seen on
right.
a Magic
yeah,
card.
yeah.
Like what is I think it's
Think into stupor. That's so.
uh Volatile Storm Drake, the borderless, like extended art
Color,
looking one of that, where the dragon
color.
comes out of the card. Um,
What
one of the
color is it?
it is blue. Here, I'll go ahead and I'll link it in the
Oh,
Discord for
dude,
you
yeah.
guys so you guys
That
can
Oh,
looks
see. It is
sweet.
one of the coolest cards
That
I've
is
ever seen.
super
It is
cool.
epic, and this set
Yeah,
is full of cards like that
yeah.
that come through the border. You know, intersect with the text boxes and stuff like that. And then you have fucking like stuff like this card, this Eladamir Korvik doll, which is just the side profile. So there's a whole line of these side profile art cards in this set as well that I personally do not like these style of cards. I am not a big fan of just the clean one color background with a
Uh-huh.
2D character kind of
This is a
stickered
this
onto
is
the
a
front of it.
reprint, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you mean
The
like
Corvic doll.
Mm.
Crick?
Yeah. I had the same issue with the Dungeons and Dragons set where it was just kind of like a flat background with like the sketching of the creature on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, I
that's definitely preference though.
because well, I mean,
Yeah.
you can't tell
Because
me
like
cards
this,
like Wheel of Potential doesn't look like one of the most insane coolest cards you've ever seen.
Hmm.
you
And
gotta
then
tell me the color when you say these.
It's a
I'm
wheel.
linking
It's
them in the
probably
chat.
red.
It's red.
Legal.
uh you know, and then like the medallions, the borderless medallions look insane, and then you just get a fucking sticker side profile of a dog on a blue background
Yeah.
with Philia. Like
I mean, I do see what you're talking about, but they're also not like if they did Wheel of Potential with that solid background and all that stuff, it wouldn't make any sense. But a lot of the characters that they're doing that solid background for is like characters.
They're specific. It
And
looks like only
if
legendary and creature
yeah, only
types.
legendary
I've
creatures. Yeah, it's
I've
like a
Well, actually,
profile
played
there's
with
a
thing.
like
regular creature
cards,
here, but
or actually not played with cards. I've had collectible cards. Like I remember like watching a Star Wars movie that came out, and you would come out of the movie theater, you get cards that look similar to this. It feels I don't know. It feels like your commander, your hero, your
uh-huh.
it
I
like
can
I
I
can
can
see its
understand that.
place.
I can
I
totally
see what you're
understand that.
saying.
Yeah,
Like
I
this is
mean
the
this is
face
the
of my deck
character.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So like I could definitely feel that, especially how like cuz I have DJ Scarab God, right?
Yep.
Like that you can't read what it says, but at the
Mm,
same
mm.
time it's your commander. It is your be as flashy. This is hey, this is my deck. This is
Mhm.
so but again, it's preference, Not everyone's going to like it, and that makes sense. But I do see stuff like wearing Soul Trader, and I'm like, okay, I get what Dave's trying to say.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely. Okay, so let's segue to this. Matt, I know that you're super excited for this because we talked about this uh a couple of months before the spoilers started coming out for Modern Horizons 3.
Oh no!
we
Oh
were
yeah, yeah,
we
yeah,
were
yeah, yeah.
talking about how
I was looking at
flip
them.
planeswalkers
Yep.
were no
Mhm.
longer being made, and Matt specifically was like, I really like these, and I'm like, they're good. And sure as shit, we have flip planeswalkers in Modern Horizons 3. So Matt, I specifically want to know what you think and how you feel about this.
I love it. Like I thought it was great, and I've even been seeing like commercials when I'm watching like YouTube, people being
Mm-hmm.
like, "You could definitely see the connection between the cards." Like with a Johnny, see like you see. I do think it's funny when I hear it, but like as Johnny, you see like it's him and his cat in the background, and then you flip it, and boom, there's no cat, so he must have died, and bam, there's a spark. I think it's a lot of
That
reading
must be
into
it.
it,
Yeah,
but
Yeah, it's
yeah,
a
yeah.
little much,
I
but
get it. All right, all right.
but I do really like having the creatures that flip into planeswalkers.
I think it's super cool.
Yeah, it's a really really cool idea, and it's like they're getting their spark and they're evolving. It's like yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's why couldn't we have that? We have transforming werewolves, but we can't have fucking flipping. So I was glad whenever you sent me the picture and you're like, oh look, they brought
Yeah,
him, and I was like, oh fuck
it
yeah,
was so uncanny because like I'll maybe I'll put it on screen, but I literally messaged him in our Discord and was like, I we're like talking about it, just not, it couldn't have been more than 2 months beforehand, and I put it in the chat. I'm like, dude, I don't know how you knew it, but you did. You
yeah
knew it.
It's all good.
I was saying like, oh no, they're not going to do it because they're too broken. And here we go. There they are.
it's
There's
like
the flip planeswalkers again.
they're so fun because it brings flavor
It
to
does, yeah, and you can put them
Yeah,
in your
like
it
command
makes it
zone.
seem like your character, your commander is like growing as you play the game type thing, you know?
Absolutely,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
That's why I like to people that have planeswalker
Commanders,
commanders,
yeah,
is because it's like it feels like your guy's doing more than just oh, see, I play another land and I draw another card.
yeah.
Like
I
it's like
mean,
okay,
that's the
cool.
benefit of having planeswalkers is, it's essentially a sorcery on your field that you can keep using. depending on the circumstances of your planeswalker and your board state and what your opponents are doing, it's very risky to play a planeswalker. You know what I mean? That's why a lot of people have stepped away from planeswalkers in recent years. It's just not there's not as much benefit from running them. But whenever it's a creature on the front side and you kind of can help decide whenever it flips, that changes
Mhm.
it significantly.
Oh yeah,
So
it's really fun. I really like it, and seeing all the different ones that have the flippability is
mhm.
really nice. I mean, I was thinking about what was gonna be my Boris commander, and I'm probably gonna end up doing that, the flip commander for
Yeah,
Ajani.
yeah. I mean,
So,
Um,
real quick question about those. Are their color identities white red,
so
yes.
even though there's no
yes.
red uh mana pip anywhere inside of
It's
it?
no, no, it's on the back side. So if you flip it on the back side, there's a little symbol that's has
Oh,
a
I
line
see.
through it.
Yeah,
Next to it, it
That
says
next to
legendary
his planeswalker
planeswalker.
symbol.
because
Yeah.
that you
Gotcha.
have that same exact symbol on that card that has the really long name. You have it. What's it called?
Oh, Asmiranda Coldacor.
Asmarana
Yeah,
color.
yeah, that
No,
one.
it's Asmarano,
Okay,
Mardica, Distina Coldakar, I
Coldacor.
think.
Yeah, there we go.
so on there has that same pip, and
Impressive.
that is what makes it its color.
Yeah, I mean it's the same thing as that Corvold from Commander
Gotcha.
Legends,
Hmm.
Rogaw.
Yeah.
Easier to say.
So again, as for price, like think about it as the terms for like me, right? Am I gonna go to the store, like you said,
Hmm.
and buy any of this stuff? Because I'm probably not gonna buy it like pre.
Yeah,
Joey might
pre-release.
want to get it on the pre-release buy, and if we go through with that, I'll probably do it just so that I can have a couple drafts because I would have enough for two.
Hmm.
Um, But if I went afterwards and I'm like, I would like to buy it. One collector pack for roughly $40.
Yeah, I mean one.
Hmm.
So I'm if hear me out, okay?
How many rares slots are
Five,
in it?
five.
Five?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it
And
said five
how
rare
how
slots.
how many shots you get for the holy shit, right? One, and then you get two slots that are like your holy shit, and then the other three are like whatever, and one of them is usually a guaranteed of something, right? So
Um,
because one of them is a guaranteed rare of a specific thing usually, like how Baldur's Gate, I think it was the backgrounds, right? There you always got a
yeah,
background.
so I don't know if
I don't think
Modern
there's any
Horizons has
guarantees in
that.
this set.
So
Yeah.
so I can tell you for sure that you're gonna get 5 cards rarity of rare or higher. Okay.
Right.
Um, there is a possibility to get one of the sack lands, the fetch lands in each pack. There's a chance. They don't have a percentage, but there is a chance to get one. 3 to 5 uncommons, 4 to 6 commons, and you're able to
That's
get
one
up to
slot already.
2 foil etch cards per pack. Up to, so you could get 0.
Okay, that we'll see. Definitely we'll see. But from what I'm hearing right now, that sounds like so one slot that's designated for you possibly to get the fetch land. And it'll be if you don't get it,
Yes.
it'll be something else.
Hmm.
Another
Yes. Yeah.
slot that is probably gonna be etched. Most likely.
Most
Like
I would say
you
you
said
have,
one to
yeah,
two, but I feel
up
like there's
no up to 2. You could get 0.
that's what that's what I'm saying. You can have, you could have, but I feel like
Hmm.
there's a guaranteed of one because I feel like you're there. Whichever one did it, Command Legends, there was always an etch in that one. I feel like this is gonna go down the same route.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
So
Like,
that's what I'm
I
hearing is
definitely feel
two.
like it's going to be, it's a corporate speak of, oh, you're
Yeah.
going to have up to two, so that way the people who don't get one aren't going to have a case to say, hey, you lied to me.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Exactly.
yeah, so all etch or one etch slot, and then one possible fetch could be whatever, and then you got your three freebies, which are usually can't possibly be those three good cards, but can
I mean,
be
there's always
whatever.
a chance. I mean, every time you open a magic pack,
Um,
you're gambling. So, I mean,
right.
you know
So
what I mean?
with that said,
Legal gambling.
one of those slots has to be the etched slot as well, or not the etched one, the serialized one.
Yeah, so apparently that's supposed to be the last card in the box or in the pack,
Okay,
supposedly.
so you have that slot. So that's what I'm trying to digest where all these are, because that's what it was with I want to say two sets back, three sets back, where people were like, "Man, there's so many good cards in here," and then when you open it, you're like, "Man, why am I getting nothing?" And it's like, "Oh, well, because every single card has like five variants to it."
Yeah, yeah.
That you
Mhm.
pulling the one that you need or that's worth anything
Mhm.
is fucking impossible.
Was that
So
was
that's
that March
why
of
I'm
the
curious.
Machines? Was it that one where they reprinted they printed the new Praetors, but they also put the old Praetors in there in different arts?
Yeah,
Is that the one
I
you're
believe
talking
so.
about?
Yeah, but wasn't that the all be one? Didn't that do they do that?
All
I
will
know.
be
Well,
one.
All Will Be One
Oh, and
had
Monster Machine. Gotcha.
yeah, All Will Be One had new Praetors in it, like the
I
new
feel like it was
Urbask
after
and
that. I feel like it
yeah,
was another set after that.
yeah. I'm pretty sure it was March of the Machines.
Aftermath.
No, it was
No,
definitely
no,
not.
like after
It
that.
was not after.
Are you sure?
We don't
No,
talk
you
about that one,
We don't
okay?
talk about
There,
Aftermath.
what was
Yeah,
it like? 50 cards that you could pull from that pack.
man.
I'm so glad.
anyhow,
I'm so glad they changed Outlaws to not have that because it was supposed to, and they just
that
threw it
is
in as
true.
the big score or
That
whatever it
is that is
was.
what I want to say is like if because we're just seeing like the previews of what the hey these are what the cards are, hey some of them have different arts, so if it's like at face value right now, I feel like there's enough good hits in this where you can keep on
I agree with you.
where you can buy.
I think
Like I would buy.
there's
I would spend
definitely
the
Yeah.
$40
Oh
for a
no,
collector
I
pack
would.
for sure.
to get the stuff out of it. But if I'm gonna get four copies of the same exact card because
Yeah.
they
It just
all there's
happened to find their way in there.
like like
Yeah.
Oh
like this
yeah, cool. I got the
actually
normal one, the foil
well
one, the foil etched one, and the
Yep.
alternate art one,
hold
and
on.
they're
I'm
all
actually looking
$5.
at one right now. I could get what is it? Eldemari Horvakdal.
Yeah.
He's an elf
Yeah,
warrior.
Yeah.
the
That's
elf
the
one.
reprint, dude.
I could get him borderless, default, retro frame, or etched.
Yeah.
Already. That's the three so far. So
Hmm.
I could get him all in one pack. Or
And
I could
there's
get
probably a serialized. There's probably like 500 serialized ones too. Let's be
right.
honest.
It's so
Mhm.
like that's a risk you gotta take, right? You're like, I don't know. Am I
Yeah. I
gonna
mean,
pull Priest of Titania 9 times?
yeah. Yeah. I that's the problem. I mean, they
It's
with
always a
all these
gamble.
variants. Yeah. It's the gamble. Um,
Always buy
but
singles.
moving from that, we can start talking about some of the new cards, not specifically new cards with special variants, but just cards that we think are going to be good, right? Things that we think are going to be not necessarily staples, but they could be. You know what I mean? So like
Mhm.
my first example is this Vexing Bauble, right? Vexing Bauble, it's a 1-drop artifact. Whenever a player casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, counter it. Pay 1 tap, sack it, draw a card.
Mhm.
Nuts. That's a fucking awesome card. How many times have you played in a game and you're like, oh, this dude's just casting spells for free? Like, you know what I mean? Like you playing
Who
against a
would do
stomp.
that?
Yeah, yeah. No one would ever do that.
Nobody would
So you
ever.
throw a Vexing Bauble out for 1 mana, and you're just like, okay, cool. Now what? You got to destroy it, and if you destroy it, I leave a mana up, I sack it, I get to draw a card. Oh well, you get to put some stuff down for free, but at least I can draw a card off of it too. And it's a 1 mana artifact, so like all the mono blue artifact decks are gonna love this card. It shuts off so many strategies that a mono blue deck just cannot really deal with, other than just holding up counter spells. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And if they're not casting it, how are you supposed to do that? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, for this one, it does specify it needs to be cast and no mana was spent to cast it. You know what just came out? Fucking plot.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah.
Just totally shuts that off. Can't use that anymore. You know what I mean? And I love plot. I think it's a cool mechanic. It might not be as good as Foretell, but it's pretty good. It's a good mechanic. I
Mhm.
think it's fun. I love that you just pay up front and then it's like, okay, cool, now I cast it for free. You know? Like that's pretty nice.
Yeah, you cast them whenever.
Let's see.
Besides, instant, but yeah, whenever.
Yeah. All the new Devoid cards. I mean, that's going to be cool. I
Oh
definitely
yeah.
think that having more Eldrazi's is going to be interesting, especially because it's definitely more of a viable archetype now with all these
especially.
cards.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I don't want to segue into the commander decks just yet, but that new Eldrazi commander is fucking
It's
crazy.
insane.
It is
Yeah.
insane. It is, yeah, that is a crazy card. Necro Dominance. Have you guys seen that one yet?
Yes,
Yeah.
Necrodominance is gonna be
So
crazy
a new
good.
so a new Necro card, 3 black mana. Skip your draw step. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay any amount of life. If you do, draw that many cards. Note your max hand size is 5. If a card or token we put into your graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. So it does shut off the like graveyard recursion kind of strategies, but like it's no different than the other Necro, really. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And at the beginning of your end step, you can just pay as much life as you want and draw that many cards. And there's so much you can do with that. Swap in life totals. Just transmute. Hey, I'm gonna pay fucking 39 life, draw all these cards, and then I'm gonna take your life total, and now I'm at 35 and you're at 1. Like crazy. And then you just run it with a life gain strategy. Game over, dude. That's it. That card's crazy.
I just realized I'm still just chilling
You
above
know, best cards like you've been talking about, right?
Mm.
I think obviously we mentioned Flare of Denial already, but like the
Yep.
whole
The
flare,
flare cycle,
the
yeah.
flare cycle is going to be crazy. It just adds more into uh just free stuff for you to throw into kits, free Flare of Malice, sacking
Yeah.
your opponent's creatures. The red one duplicates spells. I don't know what the white and green ones do, but
Let's see. The green one is it's like 3 mana and you can like search for lands like green
oh,
does.
okay, 3 mana.
And then I think
Two basic land
white
cards. Reveal those
exiles.
cards. Put one onto the battlefield. Okay, so
No,
Flare of Cultivation. It's just a cultivate that you can cast for
for
free,
free by sacking a
by
non-token.
sacking a
Yeah.
non-token green
Yep.
creature. Probably. What does the white one do?
The
Because I'm
white
gonna
one
go out on a
is the
limb.
same effect, but
Flare of
until your end of turn, your
Fortitude.
life total can't change, and permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible. So
Okay, so
essentially, it's a
Flare of
free white.
Cultivation, I think is probably the worst.
Yeah, I mean that
Would be my
it's
guess.
the same
It's
thing.
just a
Yeah,
cultivate.
it's another obscuring haze. Obscuring haze was by far the worst free spell that was printed in Ikoria. It's just the one that
Hmm.
says, oh, if you control your commander, you can prevent all combat damage to be dealt this turn. I
Yeah.
mean, it's useful. I mean, it's a free fog, but like it's not nearly as good as what's
you know,
the
I, you get whereas the Flare of Fortitude is just another Teferi's protection,
yeah. I mean,
or
I would say it's probably closer. Actually, yeah, no. I mean, it is pretty much a Teferi's protection.
yeah,
Yeah,
just
I
it's
was gonna
just
say
not
it's like a
phasing
white
out.
heroic
Yeah.
intervention, but yeah, I mean
Hmm.
it's I because your life total can't change. So yeah, yeah, I mean that's a good one. I would definitely run that.
I think honestly, and like worst to best, I think it goes cultivation, duplication, which is the red one that
Yeah,
all it does is
copies.
copy a spell.
Yeah,
That's not necessarily bad. It can go crazy.
yeah, it's just not great.
And then malice, which is sack stuff, and then fortitude, which protects you, and then denial, which is
Can
gonna I think is a crazy good card.
can I also just point out that Flare of Cultivation is the only one that's sorcery speed too.
Really?
Why couldn't they just make it an instant? That would have put it way up there in my opinion.
Yeah,
If it was an
that's
instant, then I'm running that in
reprint
every green deck.
or it's a misprint.
Yeah. I mean
misprint. Yeah,
the fact
I
that
I
it's a
I
sorcery is kind of
totally.
Jeez.
Yeah, that is
that's
not good. I
it's
didn't
not
realize
good.
that.
Yeah, it's the only
Um,
like Matt said, maybe it is an instant, and that
they were
that's
trying to not power creep Sakura Tribe Elder. That's what they were doing.
yeah. Got to let Steve have his time.
Yeah.
He's on his way out, but not just yet. Yeah, that's
Maybe
crazy.
in.
That is really insane that they printed all of them
Yeah, I
instant
can't
speed
believe that.
except for that one. Like that should if it would have been an instant, it's I would say an auto include in green decks because it's a
Hmm.
free it's a free better cultivate.
Yeah,
You know what I
because
mean?
literally every single other one of them you can use defensively almost. You can
Yeah.
you can your opponent casts something. Let's
Hmm.
say. let's say they cast fucking Casualties of War or something like that. They
Mm-hmm.
target your creature. You just Flare of Denial, sack your creature,
Yeah.
counters it. Now nothing happens.
Yeah.
Or you could fucking Flare of Duplication, sack your creature, copy
Copy
their
it.
Casualties of
Yep.
War
And they're
because
just
it's not
visuals, and you
it's
get to use the effect.
mhm,
Yeah.
and it's not one-sided. Flare duplication, you can copy your opponent's stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, Fortitude, you can protect yourself. Malice, you can fucking sack stuff in response.
Yeah.
But yeah, God, wow, they really dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah.
And that card's $20
And it's
right now. That's going
$20.
down.
Yeah.
That's going down for sure.
No
So
one's read
Because
the sorcery part.
So another one
yeah,
that I saw that I think is going to be really great, and I'm sure that everybody else has noticed this too. Warren Soul Trader. Warren Soul Trader is crazy for aristocrat style decks. Two and a black, pay one life, sack another creature, create a treasure token. Does
Yeah.
not say can only be
yeah.
done at sorcery speed or only
Yep.
once per turn, and the extended art is sick.
That's the one I pointed out where I was like, it just looks amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
It's an
this
amazing
card
card too.
this card is going to be fantastic. I can already think of two decks that I own that I would put this in. Prosper,
hmm
absolutely. Put it and then put it in Sir Conrad.
And you know what? It can fit in Zombie Tribal
Zombie
and
Tribal and
Goblin
Goblin
Tribal.
Tribal, which both of those things care about sacking creatures as well.
hmm
So yeah, great card. Love that one. Um, so the Roshin Roaring Prophet. This one's cool. New legendary creature. I don't really care for the extended art. It's another one of those profile ones. So enters the battlefield, mill 6 cards. You may put a card with X in its mana cost from among them into your hand. Reveal any number of cards with X in their mana cost in your hand. Add 2 colorless mana for each card revealed this way, and then spend that only to cast spells that contain X.
Huh.
Super good. Uh, I mean, I have an X spell deck with the Tyrannid commander. I'm spacing on her name right now. Um, Magus Lucia Kane,
Yeah.
and this card would go crazy in that deck. I
hmm
thought the other Roshin was good in that deck. This one is way better, and I'm like 90% sure they're the same mana cost. Roshin Meander, pretty sure. Come on, pull it up. Printed in Shadowmoor. Yeah, same mana value, except for hers can be cast with Gruul, so it's 3 in Gruul, whereas this one might be a little bit harder to cast. But I mean, if you're running X spells in you're gonna have a lot of ramp, so such a good card for that. So I'm super excited. Oh, this one
Um,
too. Sorry, I just
okay,
let me
go
get
for it.
this one out, and then you
Yeah,
can go
yeah.
ahead. Marionette Apprentice, just Marionette Master's Apprentice. So fabricate one, enters the battlefield, put a +1 counter on it, or create a 1/1 servo. Whenever another creature or artifact you control is put in the graveyard from the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's not as good as Marionette Master, but it's just another slot to fill with a,
hmm
and it does artifacts and creatures.
It's a
So
good set.
yeah, so I would just, in my opinion, fabricate should just say create a 1/1 servo. But I mean, you can always make it a 2/3 instead, which gives you a solid blocker. So yeah. Anyways, go ahead, Dave.
So I kind of mentioned it earlier when I was talking about how good its art was, but Volatile Stormdrake, I think, is
Yeah,
going to be an incredibly underrated, incredibly overpowered card.
yeah. I'm
Um,
looking really forward to that one because I wanted to
so
build an Aether deck. So
flying hexproof. Well, see, you don't need the energy. Doesn't even. I'm not even putting that on the radar because it's not. I'm just talking decks in general. This is going to be a crazy card.
yeah, well,
So
the
when
hexproof
when
and
it
activated abilities is nuts.
So when it ETBs, exchange control of it
Hmm.
and target a creature an opponent controls. Okay, that's already pretty good. It's not
Yeah,
until end of turn. That is permanently.
yeah.
And then you get 4 energy, and then sacrifice that creature unless you pay an amount of energy equal to its mana value.
Hmm.
So if your opponent's, let's say their commander or one of their key combo pieces or
Yep.
anything costs 4 mana or less, you just steal that fucker from them.
Yeah. In
It's
worst
all
case scenario,
yours.
You take it, you keep the 4/8 energy counters, and then you
Energy, and
sack
then you
it.
can just sack it.
Yeah. It
It gets around
gets around. So yeah.
indestructible. It gets around all that shit.
Yeah.
So now it's a giant removal spell for 2 mana.
Hmm.
And I mean,
And it's a
like
3/2 on top of that,
it's
which
a
is good.
well, your opponent gets it. So
yeah, but at the end of the day, like it's
yeah,
yeah, it's good.
your opponent gets a 3/2 with flying and hexproof from activated and triggers.
Yeah,
So but in exchange for, you could take their commander. You could take their commander permanently. You
yeah.
can like it just ruins it.
Hmm.
There's nothing they can do. You could steal their commander and then dark steel mutation it on your board.
Yeah.
Another fuck.
Now
They're
it's yours.
never getting that back.
It's
Yeah.
yours forever. Yeah, I
Uh,
mean this is a super cool card. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of use cases for this one.
it is,
I
yeah, I feel
definitely.
like it's at the very least 2 mana make opponent sack target creature.
Yeah, well, and you get to choose too.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not even that bad. Like
I think
because
it's
usually
gonna
when your
be.
opponent chooses, you're like, oh fuck, I just get a token. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? But like you get to choose it. So much better.
I feel like it's kind of similar to how what is it, Raven form almost.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I
you
mean,
know, you
close.
you you counter the spell or you destroy it, and then they get a bird. This is
Hmm.
you either steal or sack it, and they get a Drake.
Yeah,
Very similar things. And then if you're running a energy deck, then it just is busted.
yeah.
So,
Right.
So what do you guys think about the Necro Bloom? Have you seen that one yet?
I did look at it a little bit. Yes.
Yeah.
Here, let me go
So
back
it's in
to it.
Bant. So one white, black, green. Landfall. Whenever land enters the battlefield
That's
under control.
Abzan, just saying.
Oh, did I? Oh shit, you're
You
right.
said
That is
Bant, you
absent. Yeah.
nerd.
Oof. Oof. That's a fail. Okay. Anyway,
Yeah,
so
restart the
landfall.
video.
When a land enters, create a 0/1 green plant, and then if you control
Yeah.
seven or more lands, you get a 2/2 black zombie. And land cards in your graveyard have dredge too. I mean, that's pretty good. The land card getting dredge is pretty good. Um, and then it has like a pseudo Field of the Dead kind of effect. So, and then obviously you run Avenger of Zendikar, and uh,
Plans.
that's a pretty obvious one.
More plans.
Yeah,
More plans.
more
More
plants.
plant creature tokens for the plant deck.
Yeah, yeah. So that I think that one's cool. I mean, it's not like super busted,
Oh my
but
god,
it would
I
be a
just
fun commander
okay.
card.
You know what? I take back everything I said about the portrait art. This one has the coolest portrait art out of all of them because there's literally a dude inside of his stomach getting
Yeah,
melted
yeah.
away.
I
That is
noticed
pretty
that one.
sick.
Yeah, it's the zombie. That's how he makes the zombies.
Oh, he makes the zombies. Yeah, yeah, that is pretty sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This card's
All
pretty
right.
good. Collective Resistance. It's an uncommon. So it has Escalate, which is a new mechanic as far as I know. So pay this cost for each mode chosen beyond the first. It starts off as 2 mana, and then you can choose one or more. Destroy an artifact, destroy an enchantment, and target creature gains hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. So at its best, it's 5 mana. You can destroy an artifact and an enchantment, and one of your creatures is hexproof and indestructible. What do you think about that? Because I love modal spells. In my opinion, they're great
Yeah,
to
more
have for.
options.
Yeah, it gives you more options. But this one's a modal spell that you can choose all of them if you have the mana to pump into it. So
Hmm.
how do we feel about that? Because I'm on board. I'd run this. It might be a little gimmicky or not like the most optimal, but I love.
Situation-y type
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
it gives you the option, and I mean enchantment removal is pretty
There's
necessary
escalate,
in
right?
artifact.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just like Spree.
it's
Hmm.
kicker.
It's
Yeah,
everything is
everything's
kicker. They're
kicker.
It's
Yeah.
just
kicker.
renaming everything because like they
Yeah,
made Spree and they're like, all right, cool,
yeah,
cool. We're not gonna make more Spree. We're gonna
yeah.
make escalate.
Well, I
It's
mean,
like
Spree's
you're
a little bit different because it's like each of
ah,
those options has a different mana value usually.
oh,
Um,
that's true.
Whereas this one is just like all of them cost a green mana to add onto it. So like you
Oh,
need,
so kicker.
yeah. So exactly, it's kicker.
It's kicker.
It's kicker. But yeah,
Yeah, I
I'm about it.
mean
I like
they're
it.
they're good. I mean, I like Spree. I hate kicker, but this is good.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. Yeah. Ooh, this one's cool. Have you guys seen Trickster's Elk? Have you seen this one
Not.
yet? Oh,
Mm-mm.
take a look at Trickster's Elk. So it's a two colorless and a green enchantment creature elk with bestow one and a green. We already know what bestow does, but I'm going to read it
Yep.
anyways.
Hmm.
If you cast this card for its bestow cost, it's an aura spell with enchant creature. It becomes a creature again if it's not attached. Enchant creature loses all abilities, and it's a green elk creature with base power and toughness 3/3. Does that sound familiar?
That sounds pretty familiar. They're just putting Oko out
Yeah,
again.
so it's essentially Oko, but it's an enchantment creature spell. So whenever that creature dies, they get an elk, and they get to keep that elk. I'm pretty
Hmm.
sure that's how it works, right? The enchantment doesn't go back to the owner if the creature dies, if it's enchanted on somebody else's creature.
I am actually not sure how that ruling works. I would
Fuck,
assume
I have
so.
no
Because
idea.
the enchantment itself would never leave play, so it shouldn't because it's owned by the person who cast it,
Hmm.
but it's controlled by the person that's controls that permanent you attached it to,
But
right?
I think
aren't
I
you
think
always
you
the owner?
still I think you still control it even when you put it onto the opponent's creature, because you're controlling that
Oh,
enchantment, but you're just bestowing it on
So
a
maybe
different
you do
creature.
get that's I don't know. I'd have to look into the ruling for that. But if you get it back, that's even fucking better. I
Yeah.
mean, that's
You get
really
a
good
three
if you
three
get it
back.
back. Yeah, you turn something that's scary into a 3/3 that has no abilities, and then when it dies, you get a 3/3 out of it.
You're saying that everybody's replaced Beast Within, or
I
not?
mean, it only hits creatures. So,
True.
I mean, at least Beast Within you can hit anything. So like, I mean, any permanent. So that's pretty good.
Fair enough.
Um, let's see what else do we have here. Apex Devastator got reprinted. That's solid. We really needed that because that card is expensive now.
Yeah, I'm surprised on how high it's been going up.
Yeah. Okay, so how about we do this? Before we get into the new reprints, uh, let's look at the commander decks. Let's look at the new
All
commanders.
right.
Cause I'm so we'll start by price, price matching. Looking at the
All right.
prices, right?
I don't know the prices, so you'll have to tell me.
That's fine.
I
That's
have been
fine.
looking at
Uh huh.
the people, so I have
Yeah.
opinions on the.
Yeah, okay. So we'll get into that after. So we'll start individually, right? We'll talk about individual commander decks. So creative energy, the man, I'm spacing on my three colors today. Jeskai, the Jeskai
Hmm.
Aether counter commander deck.
Yeah.
49.92 for pre-sale.
Uh,
I mean,
So
go
that's pretty cheap for a
that
commander
I
deck, but also I just want to say I think this is going to have one of the most staple cards out of all the decks.
okay.
Besides the Eldrazi. Besides the Eldrazi.
What
Uh,
what card do you think?
So I think it's going to be Hourglass of the Lost. So it's
Okay.
a 3 mana white mana rock. So you tap, add white, put a time counter on Hourglass of the Lost.
Uh-huh.
Doesn't enter tap or anything. It costs 2 mana white, 3 mana rock. So obviously it's not going to be CDH or anything like that.
Uh-huh.
But then it has remove X time counters from it, exile it, and return each non-land permanent card with mana value X from your graveyard to the battlefield.
wow.
So yeah, it's uh, just a regular old rock, doesn't enter tap, no downsides to it, that you then can just bring everything back.
Where are you finding this card? I'm not able to find it anywhere.
Here, let me. It is very lightly spoiled. It is
Okay,
not
it's yeah.
revealed yet. It is
Okay.
very
Okay.
newly spoiled. Um, this deck also has a another cool one, Silver Quill Lecturer.
Okay.
Creature spells you cast have demonstrate. So whenever you cast the creature spell, you copy it, and then you choose an opponent to copy it. So you get two of your creatures, and your opponent gets one of them.
Oh, dang, did I close that page? I did.
That's another one that's really good. It's 5 mana, it's 4 and a white, it's a 3/3. So I don't think it's gonna make any big moves. I think it's just another fun
Uh-huh.
little white spell. I love whenever white gets fun copy mechanics. I think it's, trying to make the color a bit better and a bit useful. Being able to get multiple of, like, your anthem creatures and everything out onto the battlefield,
Mm-hmm.
and then just give your fucking, oh, here you go, Matt. Here's a guy that gives your soldiers +2/+2. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
But I get two of them, right? So or okay, I'm gonna get two Elish Nords. You get one, but it dies when it enters because I have two of them. So
Uh-huh.
it's like there's definitely plays you can make with this card.
Yeah, definitely I'm excited for it. My personally because I wanted an Aether deck. I definitely
Hmm.
think there cuz I don't know if it's gonna be put in the deck. I really hope it does, but Gonti's Aether Heart, such a good card to have. I mean, it's not like super busted, but
Mm-hmm.
like you're already playing Jeskai. You're gonna want probably some extra turn kind of stuff. So having that in there would be really nice.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I definitely think that one I'm excited for. The the price, $50 is cool. That's fine with me. I can
I
afford
think
that.
isn't Aetherworks Marvel inside this deck too,
I
which is like
think
a
it's
like a
supposed to be, yeah.
$5 or $10 card or something like that. So I
Yeah,
mean
yeah.
that's a pretty good include. It's a pretty
Yeah.
good win condition in the deck.
Yeah, but that's
Um,
said the best thing is to get that one hourglass.
yeah, Hourglass of the Lost. I think that's going to be a crazy good card.
Problem is
Yeah.
I
though,
think
you would
it.
have to buy this deck though.
I
You
mean,
don't have to buy the
yeah.
decks. You could always get it the single. You can
Yeah,
just
you
buy
could
the
buy it as a
No,
single.
single.
that's true. That's true. But I'm saying like that, and you're saying like how expensive this deck's going to be. It's because like it's another energy deck, and as much as hard as they
You say
push
it. You say
energy,
Yeah,
another,
there's not
but
there's only
another because
two that I know of for precons.
yeah, they just came out with energy with the Fallout set, and they're
Mhm.
like, all right, cool, more energy, and it's like,
I
okay, I'm
mean,
glad that
but
we're
I don't know
retouching
if
on
you've
energy,
noticed
but you
that
guys
with
suck at it.
they've done that. That's been a pretty consistent thing that they've done recently. They'll print a commander deck, and then they'll have stuff in the set that can go in that commander deck. But in the next set, they also print stuff that is very good in that deck, better than what was in the last set. Because I've noticed that pretty consistently for the past couple of years, that they've printed specifically commanders for the precons, and then the next set there's like, wow, there's this really busted card that's going to come out in this set. This
Mhm.
one
Right.
just has the added benefit of also being in a commander deck. You know what I mean? Like how we were talking about the Storm Drake. You know what I mean? Storm Drake is
yeah,
great in any deck that runs blue, but it's exceptionally good in this deck.
yeah.
So
I'd
I
be
think,
surprised. I'm
yeah,
surprised if it's not in that deck.
I'm not,
I
because
guess.
you know how Wizards is.
Oh yeah, I get
They
what you mean.
they
Yeah, they're
want
not
you.
going to put a $20 card in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
They're not
I'm,
gonna do that. But
I'm not
like,
saying that I haven't noticed this because,
uh,
like, I the first thing I noticed when looking through all of this was like how there's a lot of mechanics in this that are like from the last 3 or 4 sets.
yeah,
Hmm.
And it's like I understand that part, but it's like I'm saying that you threw the best card into the worst deck because, like, just reading these other commanders and stuff like that, like this,
Hmm.
it's a again, it's another energy deck. It just feels like okay,
mhm.
whatever, yay energy. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna
I
play
mean,
with it.
nobody's really excited for the energy jacks. I'm pretty sure. Like,
Right.
it's a lost mechanic that needed support, and now they're printing support for it. And so like people are gonna start running it, but it's I think it's gonna be very niche. No
Right,
matter,
which
you know what I mean. Like for me personally, it's really good because I've explained to you before my deck building restrictions, and I don't have an
yeah.
Aether deck, and not a lot of people have an Aether deck, so I think it'd be kind of fun to
No,
venture into that.
and I get that, and that's what I was hoping for the same thing. But
Uh huh.
like the direction they went with
Mm-hmm.
the new cards were kind of like, oh, this is it's gonna keep running into that same problem that energy counters were already running into. But we're not getting too far into energy counters. I'm more into just talking about this deck.
Yeah.
What's next?
So
What's
the
the next
next
deck?
one is I kind of want to save the Eldrazi one for the end, but it's the next one on my list. So that's what
Okay,
we're gonna
like
go with.
I don't think that's bad.
So Eldrazi Incursion,
Hmm.
priced right now pre-sale $133.80
Fuck you.
For just the one,
for just that one.
can't you pre-order all four for like $200?
Yeah, 224.57
Because
for
yeah,
all four. So you might as well just get all four of them.
that's
But that's how
Yeah,
they get you.
yeah,
That's how
that's
they
how they
get you.
get you.
Yep. So I mean it's a little bit over $50 a piece if you buy all four of them, right? But if you just want one of them for the Eldrazi one, it's 133.80. That's pre-sale, so it's probably going to go up because there is some nuts cards in this deck. Not even talking
Yeah,
about the commander, like
yeah.
the commander's busted. Let me pull the commander up real quick.
Commander's
Um,
insane.
I has it been actually? Yeah, okay, so it has been fully released now.
oh
It
yeah.
it is no
It's the
longer just a
devoid.
talk.
Whenever you cast an Eldrazi spell, you may pay
Two
white
colorless.
or colorless,
Yeah.
but you whenever you do copy all spells you control, Then copy all other activated and triggered abilities you control, and you may choose new targets for the copies.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
you're making a copy of every fuck you card that you're already casting.
yeah.
And it's gonna trigger it's gonna copy the ability of the triggers coming in, right?
Hmm.
So then you don't miss the cast trigger of the other one.
Yeah. So yeah. So it's on
So it's
cast
like,
of the
oh
Eldrazi. You get to copy everything you control,
yeah.
essentially.
Because they're like, oh well, at least it won't copy the the other thing because it's not on cast. Well,
Hmm.
fuck you, the card does it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
Yeah,
mean
that's
it's
so
pretty
that's the
broken,
thing
but
with
it's
yeah.
also
yeah.
Eldrazi. Like,
So everything's expensive in Eldrazi's as far as mana value, right? So
yeah,
you,
it
so
Uh,
is
you're
what
gonna,
it is.
but everything is colorless. Like this is a 5 color colorless commander. It's like that fucking scarecrow dude. I forget what his name is.
It costs 5 mana to do this.
5 colorless mana or 5 colored mana, one of each color.
hmm
How
Which
easy is it to get 5 colorless mana?
Insanely.
Pretty
Well,
easy.
in this deck, yeah,
Yes, yeah.
it's gonna
Well,
be.
I mean, even not
I
in
don't know
this
why
deck.
you keep saying colorless. You just need 5 mana. It doesn't matter. It's
Well,
just
Well, no,
no,
he
no. You
specifically
have
wants
to
colorless
you
mana
have to
or
use
colored mana.
colorless. Yeah,
oh yeah,
you
that's
have to.
right.
So it has to
It
be
does show
from.
the colorless.
Yeah, so it would have to be from
Well,
something like a mana vault or mana crypt, soul ring.
Or
But
Soul
like,
Ring, yeah.
yeah, literally, fucking mana crypt, soul ring, and mana vault. You cast this dude on what, turn one?
right,
Is
but
that is
it's
that
it's
five?
Eldrazi's. It's Eldrazi's. What are you gonna do about it? It's Eldrazi's.
No, 100%.
So,
percent
I mean,
That's the funny part.
not even just the Eldrazi's in this deck though. Sure, the Eldrazi's are crazy. They have some low cost, really good Eldrazi's too. I
Yeah.
think as last the Swelling Scourge. Whenever it or another colorless creature you control dies, you get an experience counter, and then all your creatures get plus X, where X is the number of experience you use. You have Scions and Spawns you control gain indestructible and Annihilator 1
Mm-hmm.
until the end of the turn. So
Yeah.
that's just a crazy 3 cost Eldrazi.
I'd even
But
think
also
about the Eldrazi spawns too. Yeah, that's another form of colorless mana on top of that in its token creation.
the support that they printed for this set is or for this deck is insane.
Is it's
Eldritch
crazy.
Immunity is in here, which is one colorless. Target creature you control gains protection from each color until end of turn, and it has Overload for 5. So that immediately is just a card that works in pretty much every single other deck.
Yeah.
You know, that's it just protects you from everything. All of your
Mm-hmm.
creatures gain protection from all the colors. It's another heroic intervention. It's another, protection effect. That's just super easy to cast
Mm-hmm.
in these kind of decks. There's also Eldrazi Confluence, which is a
Yeah.
4 mana. It's another modal spell that just has 3 crazy good abilities.
Yeah.
It's a giant growth. It's a blink effect, and it replenishes its mana with the scions.
What
Did you
about
Like they,
see
Breaker
the new?
Breaker of Creation?
Yeah.
yeah,
Breaker
break
Yeah.
Creation is
creation.
uncommon that has hexproof from each color.
hmm
You're like, okay, cool. So how do we get rid of it? It has Annihilator 2. It's an
hmm
8/4. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Did you guys see the new
Good luck.
colorless board wipe? I'm having a hard time finding it. Um.
Yeah, selective obliteration.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. Whoa,
hmm
that card is
5 mana.
crazy.
Each player chooses a color, then exile each permanent,
Mm-hmm.
unless it's colorless or its only color is the controller chose.
So I'm
I don't think
actually
that's the one that I'm talking about.
that
There's
has to
Oh,
be it.
there's another
it's
no, because it's like a it's like a cyclonic rift. I'm pretty sure that you get from your graveyard or something like that. I wish I could pull it up right now. I remember seeing it
So is it confirmed if whether or not if Ulamog the Defiler is in there? The
in
free
the
card?
deck
Probably not.
itself.
don't think so. That would be
Yeah.
insane.
It would
Yeah,
be crazy.
I think the
That
decks are
card's
revealed at the end of this month.
wild.
yeah,
That card is wild as shit.
yeah, yeah. No, I
Well, I kind of.
I would hate to
How
spend
much
this
does that
much
cost?
money on a precon, but if I
hmm
was gonna spend that much money on a precon, this is the one that
I
I would
mean,
buy.
so I already have an Eldrazi deck, right?
Yeah.
And I would probably buy this precon because my Eldrazi deck's a little outdated. It still has a
Mm-hmm.
lot of
Right.
good cards in it. I need
Yeah.
to change the commander because the commander's banned.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
like this would definitely be a deck that I would buy, take it apart, take my Eldrazi deck apart, mash them together just to make one disgusting piece of shit.
Absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
see, because I like that idea as well. Because I have one of the other Eldrazi deck
Yeah, the
Hmm.
the one
that
that
they
was
had,
printed
and it was
recently.
yeah the Cascade one, which I'm
Yeah,
like I was pretty happy
that one's
with.
good.
But looking at that Swelling Scourge, where it's like the experience counter one, that's pretty dope. I
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
really like that. Like and I would make an Eldrazi deck with that just because I think that's really cool ability to do. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of legendary Eldrazi's in here that would be really cool to do, and I'm so happy for that because that was one of my downsides about Eldrazi's is there was only like three fucking Eldrazi's you were choosing from.
Yeah.
If you're going to make an Eldrazi deck or a colorless deck for that fact, you
Hmm.
were going to choose the three commanders that they had,
Mm-hmm.
and that was it. Go stand in your corner. Don't move out of your box.
Yeah.
Like this has added so much more shit to do.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Hell, the Ulamog the Defiler is probably going to be everybody's new Eldrazi commander.
Yeah, probably.
Hmm.
It's
There's a
just so
pretty good
insane.
chance.
Ward sacrifice two permanents. Why would you give Ward two Why?
Yeah, I mean, dude, they're really just buckling with this ward mechanic. They're like, yeah, this is it, dude. Ward is
Everyone gets
everything. Yeah,
Ward.
everything
Yeah.
gets ward now, and it's the most annoying thing to have to deal with. Like, what's that? I don't remember who has the deck, but the one where it's like ward sacrifice a creature. Is it the
It's
Sauron?
Joey. Joey has it. It's Rakdos. It's a Rakdos deck that it's it's from the Brothers of War, right? So it's one of the brothers.
Mishra. Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
Mishra
it's so
one.
he's like you can't
Yeah.
if you want to target him, you have to sacrifice a permanent. It's like that's so
Isn't
I
it
mean, I
garbage.
isn't
think
it
you were also talking
specifically?
about Sauron is the other one that does
Yeah,
that. You're
Sauron's
right.
really annoying, but
Yeah,
Oh,
you
he was right
sacrifice
before. Yeah,
specifically have to sacrifice a legendary
legendary
artifact
effect
or
or
legendary creature.
yeah,
yeah,
so
that's Sauron
annoying.
has that too. So
So
that's so
annoying.
it's so like crazy to deal with where you're like,
It
well,
might as
this
well be
is
hexproof. That's the
I
thing.
mean,
It's
yeah,
like it might
seriously,
as well
yeah.
be hexproof.
Yeah,
dude,
but
it
but they're like,
feels
"Oh,
worse.
it's like more fair." But it's really
Hmm.
not. Like at
It's
least if it
really
has
not.
hexproof, I know I can't target it. But if
Yeah.
it has ward, I can target it, but it's like always bad stuff.
Hmm.
Like ward 2 is like, okay, cool. Like
And
ward 2
we'll
is
see.
fine now. But
And the
ward
thing with hexproof is there's cards that get rid of hexproof.
yeah,
Shadowspear is an insanely
is
good card that's in
yeah.
a lot of
Right.
decks, and it gets rid of hex. I think there's a land that gets rid of hexproof.
Yeah, there's
You know,
there's
so
Well,
a yeah,
and
yeah.
as
The
Ward gets used
lighthouse or
more and
whatever.
more,
yeah.
it's going to either make those cards worse because they're not going to be running hexproof probably. They're going to probably just be wearing Ward,
Mhm.
or eventually we're going to get the exact opposite where it's like, oh, we got a Shadow Sphere that gets rid of fucking Ward and cannot be removed ever. The
Mhm.
ability, I don't know,
Mhm.
right? Just like forever here ability, like
Yeah.
All
just
right. What's the next commander deck we're gonna
All
talk
right,
about?
so the next
oh yeah,
commander
what is
deck
that?
is Graveyard Override.
All
Oh, is
right.
Uh
that
I think
it says black in it, right?
yeah,
yeah.
it's that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
I was kind of
The
looking at this
the
one.
Tarmogoyf deck.
yeah,
Yeah,
which I thought
I'm
was
pretty
really
stoked
cool.
about.
Yeah, I
I
thought that was cool.
I literally was just talking to Bobby, and we were looking through like Utopia's little cards, and I was like, "Hey, Turb- I haven't seen this card in a while." Like I was just showing him all the like, man, I didn't know they had that. Was it Loragorf?
Yeah.
Lurgoyf, yeah.
I didn't know that was a creature type. I didn't know
Hmm.
that was around. And so now that I see it on deck, that's really cool. Honestly, I would buy it.
Yeah.
I don't know how much
It's
it is
it's
though.
it's definitely a fun,
Yeah,
unique
it's
deck.
very memey. Yeah,
This
it's a
looks
meme deck for
super
sure.
fun to play.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
would play the shit out of this. And what's the second commander? The second commander is I'm pretty sure it's Koram the Undertaker, right? He gets plus X plus 0, where X is the greatest power among creatures cards in all graveyards. Whenever you attack, each player mills a card. During each of your turns, you may play a land or cast a spell from among cards in your graveyard that were put in there from their libraries this turn.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's a
from their
from their
library. So
libraries. Yeah,
anyone.
yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
Which one are
So
we playing? Alright,
it's
cast one.
just cool to like I'm probably not going to use him, but it's really cool to have another like niche creature type
Mhm.
commander because
yeah,
like they did that with the reality ship with jellyfish.
yeah, yeah.
And
Reality
then
ship's
I
busted too.
this deck also is just it's just got some big dumb dragons in it. It's got the new
Yeah,
broodmate tyrant,
yeah,
Oh
which
yeah.
is enters the battlefield, create a 5/5. It's a 5/5 itself, and it has encore for 8. It costs 7 itself. It's not a great card. It's that
yeah.
rare. It's just here, play some big dumb dragons. And then it also
You like
has like
dragons? I like dragons.
yeah, but then it also has Gluttonous Hellkite, which is a crazy fucking good card.
Yeah,
When you cast this spell, when you cast, not when it enters, each player sacrifices X creatures, and so it has XX black, red, green. So each player sacrifices X creatures. Gluttonous Hellkite enters the battlefield with 2+1/+1 counters on it. For each creature sacrificed this way, it's flying, trample, and it's a base 3/3. So for 5 mana, say you're playing this is in Commander, you're playing it against 3 other people. So for 5 mana, you drop it. Your opponents sack a creature each.
hmm
This gets 6+1/+1s. Now you have a 9/9 with flying and trample for 5 mana, and you got rid of 3 of your opponent's creatures.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Crazy.
that's insane. And then it just gets better from there.
Yeah,
Like you can
literally.
keep paying into those X's.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I think Gluttonous Hellkite's for sure my favorite card out of that deck.
yeah. At least from what's been revealed so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that card's really cool. I do think that it's cool that they put Grist in there. Grist is just it's a great card to get cards in your graveyard. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you get the bonus of also getting insects out of it. I don't know how great it's going to be in this deck. I like are the Termagoyfs mostly insects? Is that like the
No,
the theme of it
they're
or
Lermagoyfs.
okay,
I
They're
don't
yeah.
think
Lermagoyfs.
I
That's
think
the
I don't think
typings,
it's
yeah.
really there for a good reason.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
why
I
I
think
mean,
why I would cut it, but
yeah.
it is what it is.
I like Grist. I think Grist's a fun card.
replace it with the new Grist.
Yeah,
It'd
yeah.
probably work better.
Yeah, probably work a lot better. Funny how
uh,
they do that, huh?
Yeah.
right?
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll move on to the last one, and that is oh man, where'd it go? The Simic one. The Simic one that
Yeah, the
probably has Helm
tricky
of the Host in
terrain.
it.
They
It's most likely
I
that would
mean,
be so
it
um
would be
cool.
really dumb if they didn't put it in there.
It's the
and
give somebody everything counter.
Yes.
it gives lands everything, yeah.
Everything, yeah. hmm
Um,
Um,
so enters the battlefield or
no, no,
attacks, put
no,
everything
no,
or
no,
each of
no.
its one target land.
Also
Oh, you're right,
creatures.
land and creature,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Land
And
and
also
creatures, yep.
creatures.
So a card that this does have in it that is an expensive, really nice card that I think is going to make this deck worth it is it does have Vesuva in
hmm
it. It was shown to have Vesuva, which is the land enters copies any land on the battlefield.
Yeah, yeah.
That's crazy good.
Yeah, pretty
It's
much that
got
speed stage.
it's got Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth in it. That's another great land.
Yeah.
And then it's
Uh,
also one of the new cards, Planar Nexus, which is Planar Nexus is every non-basic land type. So that means it's everything besides, plain, forest, island,
oh
mountain,
wow,
swamp.
that's crazy.
hmm
So that means it's a cave, it's a desert, it's a fucking piece of shit.
That's so. I love this piece of
Yeah.
shit. Literal.
Yeah, so I think that's a really fun card. It fits in a lot of decks. It's really cool. I
You
don't
think
think it's
you'll
going
have
to be
spike it?
particular spiky. Yeah,
yeah.
and yeah, the white card in this
Is it
Simic deck
white?
or Spike It. Oh no, you're right. Spike It's colorless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just so used to playing it with white cards.
Yeah,
Um,
so those are our commander decks. Those are the new
yeah,
ones. Obviously one stands out significantly more than the other ones, and the
yeah.
price reflects that as well. But there's more. There is more. Not only are we getting 4 new commander decks, we're getting four
hmm
new commander decks and 4 new commander collector edition
Yeah.
commander
Yep.
decks.
Yeah.
So let's talk about those, right? Obviously, they're all going to be foil. And that,
hmm
Yeah.
that I mean that's pretty much it. Is it going to be surge foil? That's at least what they did for fucking
Warhammer.
Warhammer, right? So this
So
one says,
look up the price of Warhammer collectors and how they held up.
I mean, yeah, that's
Oh
we
yeah.
should definitely. So let's talk about the
Because that
prices
was
of
the
these
first
ones
one,
first. Yeah,
right?
let's talk about the prices of these ones first, right? So the Eldrazi one for off the rip, pretty
Three
much.
hundred dollars.
So on TCG Player, it's 499.66 with a market price of
Oh, sheesh.
490.65, and that's pre-sale pricing for it.
That's fucking crazy.
That's pre-sale pricing. Okay, we'll move on to the next one, which is the Graveyard Overdrive one, the Termaggoyf deck or
Yeah,
Lurgoyf, whatever. 184.49 with a market
never,
price of 177.53.
never would spend that much money.
But they're all going to be foil, Matt. They're all going to be
Well, I
foil,
They're all
mean,
gonna be foil.
and you
I'm
and
now
two of them are borderless foils, and it's
now
probably the
Ooh.
sold.
face commanders.
So
Yeah,
I took a look real quick to see how much those Warhammer ones. So you can buy the set of 4 for $600 on Amazon.
Okay, I mean that's
so
still pretty
one
good.
Eldrazi.
Yeah,
One. So
one.
two of
Yeah,
these decks.
yeah. So and then the next one is the creative energy. So the energy counter one, 150 flat with the market price of 161.90. So that one's the price is
Mm.
actually lower than the market price, which doesn't surprise me because it's probably the least popular out of all of them. Um, what could you justify spending $150 on this? I don't think so either. As cool
No,
as
that's
it would be to
insane.
yeah, as cool as it would be to have all foils. I mean, they're just all going to be Pringles anyways. So
Yeah, they're all gonna be
Pretty
Pringles.
good wrinkles
It's
though.
for sure. It's for sure. A collector's piece.
yeah,
Literally, it's a
I mean, it
collector.
would be cool to display it, I guess. But like, I could just buy the box from somebody who wants to get rid of it, and I could
Hmm.
probably spend like $300 on the box.
Get a good deal.
Yeah, that's a good deal. And then the last one, Tricky Terrain, 176.91 with a market price of 176.15. Crazy. Or you can buy all four of them for
No,
799.85.
this was $100 more than Warhammer.
It's almost 800, so I would say
Oh, sure.
$200 more than the Warhammer ones.
Huh.
But you're getting the Eldrazi.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
it's worth it.
yeah, I mean that's really what you're paying for. $500 of that almost $800 is the Eldrazi deck
Okay,
if you're doing
so
the prices
I'm
individually.
looking. I'm trying to find some places. I'm seeing a couple stores that are doing pre-orders for this for $500 plus shipping and
For
tax
for all of them,
for all four.
that is more doable, I would say,
Yeah.
especially because of this pre-sale pricing on TCG being $500.
Hmm.
So I would say that's definitely more doable. I also have Amazon up for pricing, but they don't have the collectors ones. They're just not on here.
Yeah.
Um, and also
This
the
that
Eldrazi
place
one isn't
might
on
be
here.
a little off. I'm seeing, but like
Yeah.
Star City Games. I mean, here you go. Here's a good example. What's Star City Games? Star City Games is selling all four for $800.
Okay.
So that's that makes sense.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
them being so goddamn expensive, it's insane.
Yeah.
I don't think in any world could I ever justify spending, you know, I mean, I guess you're getting 4 decks, but they're 3 mediocre decks, one good one.
Yeah.
And like you said, yeah, the foiling's going to cause a lot of issues on these.
Yeah.
I can for sure see a lot of people getting really upset when they fucking open their Eldrazi thing.
Mm-hmm.
The foiling's fucked, it's
Mm-hmm.
peeling, all their cards are warped.
Well,
Yep.
it's also just foil. It's
Yeah.
not alt art.
No, no, I
It's
mean you're getting
not
two borderless face
etched.
cards for the
It's
commanders.
just fucking foil. And
Yeah, it's
it's like,
not
okay,
it's
cool.
not it's not worth it in any kind of way.
It
Uh
wasn't worth it in the Warhammer. It's not worth it now.
yeah, I mean the Warhammer one was cool.
Had
Um
surge foiling, but
yeah, the surge
whatever.
foiling was all right. Um
Honestly, the Doctor Who surge foil, whatever that was, looked better
that one
than
was
the Warhammer one.
that
Mm.
wasn't even the commander decks though, was it? They didn't come out
No,
with
it didn't. They didn't,
collector.
but it
Yeah.
looked so much better.
Yeah. I mean I could say the same thing about the Lord of the Rings surge foils cuz those were
True.
clean.
Yeah.
Those were
Very, very
clean.
good. Very good.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely $800 is too much for 4 commander decks. I
Okay.
mean, $500 is definitely more doable, but like even that, I wouldn't spend $500 on 4 commander decks. You know, I just that's not happening. Um, yeah. So now we can go talk about what was the next thing I wanted to go for? Oh, the reprints. Let's talk about reprints.
Yeah.
I
So
don't even know where they are.
I'm just on MTG spoilers, Magic spoiler. So Apex Devastator. Apex
Yeah.
Devastator
Apex
got real
Devastator. Yep.
expensive, and that apparently that's also getting printed in one of the precons. Um,
Yeah, and I think the Simic one.
yeah, in the Simic one. So I mean that's good. I'd love to get my hands on one of them. Um, Toxic Deluge is getting reprinted. I think that one's gotten
Mm-hmm.
pretty cheap recently. So that one's not as huge, but I mean it's always nice to be able to pull one. Oh, dude, I totally forgot about this card. So this isn't a reprint. I just scrolled past it. Birthing Ritual. It's the new breeding pod.
Mm.
So at the beginning of your
Oh,
end
okay.
step, if you control a creature, look at the top 7 cards of your library. Then you may sacrifice a creature. If you do, you may put a creature card. Uh, you may put a creature card with mana value X or less from among those cards onto the battlefield, where X is 1 plus the sacrifice creature's mana value, and then you put the rest of the cards on the bottom of your library. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if you have your curve right, like that's a really great card. And being able to look at the top 7 is crazy. So, and it's 2 mana, so that's great. So back to reprints. Phyrexian
Reprints.
Tower.
Mm.
Phyrexian
Phyrexian
Tower is
Tower.
good.
I think we're getting a Kalia reprint.
Kalia, yep. Buried Alive, that's another one.
Buried Alive's a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah. All the medallions,
yep. All the
obviously,
medallions, we've talked about
they're
that
gonna
a
be
few
great.
times. Yeah, that's gonna be really
Um,
nice to have. Reform, that's gotta love a Reform. I love Reform. Estrid's Invocation's a good one. Uh, that was only printed in the precon, right?
yeah, in 2018, I think.
Yeah. So that's a nice one to be able to get.
Let's see. I think Priest of Titania,
Yep.
the Sylvan Safekeeper. Those are good ones.
Hmm.
Let's see here. Reaching Evolution.
Obviously, all of the fetch lands.
Yeah, all
You
the fetch lands are going to
yeah,
be great.
it's
You
gonna be
can't.
great.
It's print those things into the ground.
Yeah.
You
Worn
know,
Power
like
Stone. Love
Another
one
love
Power
Worn Power
Stone,
Ragavan.
Stone.
classic.
Classic. Oh, Theomancer too. That's a good one.
Ragavan.
Oh, dude, I totally forgot Ragavan's getting printed in this too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's Modern Horizon, so it should be, but yeah. And then there's the Eldamri Corvical that we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
That card's
Yep.
cool. That's a really cool card. I'm glad they reprinted that.
Urza's Incubator is getting another reprint. That's
Yep.
good. We
Yep.
just had one in Dominaria Remastered.
Yep.
Yep.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Tribals, can't go wrong.
Good old Esper Sentinel.
Yep.
Good old Esper Sentinel.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. And then we also talked about the what was I gonna say?
Medallions.
No, the we talked about the Fury and Solitude and
Yep.
all
Yep.
those. We
They
talked about
got
so
their new cycle look.
yep. So that's always nice. I mean, for me personally, Solitude is just amazing to have because White
Mm-hmm.
has a really hard time with that. Um, oh, Priest of Titania. Did we talk about that?
Yeah, I had mentioned her. Yeah,
Okay.
Priest of Titania is
Yeah.
coming
Yep.
coming back finally.
Yeah, dude. Crazy. That's a nuts card to throw
Mm-hmm.
out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one's just been on the fucking list forever. Yeah,
Forever. Yeah. I mean,
that's
they
nice
got
to
rid of the
finally have
list, so
it.
they're like, throw it in
Yeah,
there.
they're like, fucking give it to him, give
Yeah.
it to him. Yeah, give it to me,
Did
Wizards.
they talk about if this set's gonna have a special guest list at all? I didn't
Um,
see it on there, so
I haven't
maybe
seen
that's only
anything
like
though.
standard legal sets that they're doing that in.
Hmm.
Well, I don't think so because I think it ups your chances of getting bigger hits if they don't have one. That's
Yeah,
probably why they don't. one.
Yeah, I mean, for at least from what I've seen, right? Only the standard sets have gotten them. But like we've been only getting standard legal sets for a little bit. Actually, no, that's a lie because Fallout got them, didn't
Yeah,
they? Yeah.
I
So I
think so.
mean, I
Yeah, they
get.
have like the special vault
Yeah.
cards.
So I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah, because I think it was the VATS cards, wasn't it? The VATS cards were
Hmm.
special guess, or no, no, it
Think
was
so.
the renamed cards. I didn't
I
buy
really like
Fallout,
Power Balance.
so
I think Power Balance is my favorite card.
power balance. Let me see that card. Power balance. Oh no, that's the balance of power. Oh, is that one of the counter spells?
No.
Yeah, no,
As
the
a spell, you
artwork
may
on that
freely
one
top
is
card of your
crazy.
library. If you do, you may cast that card without paying its mana cost. If the two spells have the same mana. Oh, that is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's just
I mean, for
kind of
two
cool.
red mana too. I mean, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's just random as fuck.
Yeah, it's a cool card.
Imagine someone if cheated out something hella quick, like
Mm-hmm.
fuck, they're just like, I'm gonna cast Crick.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, okay, cool, I'm gonna reveal the top. Oh, I have what's the same cost as Crick? Bullets of Citadel?
Um,
I mean, Crick's cost is weird because you could pay life to cast him, can't you?
Yeah,
yeah,
but
but it's still his printed mana cost will
yeah,
be
four,
what it's
five,
going to
six,
be going
seven.
off
So
of.
seven.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think Bolus of Citadel's 6.
Damn.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know, Carson.
Yeah.
But it can work.
It could. Yeah. I mean, there's nut stuff you can do with it. So
That's
I
Those
think
right.
I
stupid
think that
dragons you
about
can cast for
I think
sure.
that about wraps it up for us.
That's all the spoilers
Yeah.
that we got and everything that we've seen so far.
Yeah, so obviously there's going to be some more, and we're roughly 10 days, 11 days away from the pre release. And so prices are going to change. Things are going to go up and down, probably up for most things because it's a modern set. Um, I think it's. Let's answer the question: is it worth it? Is it
Yeah,
worth it to buy?
To buy singles? Oh, always.
always.
Yeah. Is it worth it to buy a play booster box?
Never.
Oh,
Unless you're
box?
playing,
No.
unless you're planning on draft or not even just drafting, but sealed
Sealed,
or something
yeah.
like that. I think there's no point to buy a play booster.
I
I
would
think
I
they are
would
Yeah,
say
literally there
yeah,
just to facilitate a type of people who want to play the game a certain way.
yeah,
right.
and then a collector booster. Is it worth it to buy a collector booster? Even a
Uh,
pack or box, whichever one.
I'd buy a
I think
pack.
I for sure would buy a pack or two.
I
Um,
I
refuse
don't
to
think
buy
I
individual
couldn't buy
packs
a.
because I hate the feels
Well,
bad. So
I
yeah,
couldn't
I
buy a
would say it's
box.
not worth it for me to buy a box.
Yeah,
yeah,
buying a
a
box would
box
be
would be rough
insane.
Yeah,
Buying a pack, it just feels like you don't eat for that week. It is
because
what it is.
I feel like there's enough like $30 to $40 cards within the set
uh huh,
that you'll probably break even,
yeah,
but I don't want to pull 12 $30 cards and then lose money on my collector box,
yeah,
you know?
absolutely, absolutely. And then the commander decks. I mean, if we're buying all
I
four
might
of
get
them,
that. I might get that Lord Magora.
I mean
Yeah,
that one
I
seems
mean,
cool.
like
It
I
Um,
said,
seems
I'd
cool.
like to get the Eldrazi one, but
It's too
realistically,
expensive.
it's going to be too expensive, and I'll probably
yeah,
just buy the singles I want out of it.
yeah,
Right.
exactly. For me personally, I don't really think any of these interest me that much. I mean, the Aether counters or the energy counters one is a little bit interesting, but like I could say the same thing. Like I could just buy those singles on the back
True.
end, and then I don't have to
Hmm.
spend $50. I'll probably end up spending like 12.
Exactly.
True.
Because those cards probably aren't gonna roll around that expensive, except for maybe that
Hmm.
one card that we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I definitely think like to each their own. If you like
Yeah.
opening packs, if you like this might be a set that's worth getting into. If you really like opening packs and that's what you're looking for, then this is a good set to do that in.
Hmm.
Personally, yeah,
Eldrazi's always hold value.
exactly. Personally, I don't really like cracking packs as much as I used to, but if I do, I prefer to crack reprint sets. Like like we talked about, this is essentially a reprint set with new cards. I would
Yeah.
prefer to do that over any of the standard sets because you never
Yeah.
know what you're going to get. With this, at least you know
Hmm.
you're going to get something that could be worth it. What do you guys think? The audience. is it worth it? Is it not worth it? Do you plan on buying anything? You plan on buying multiple things? Is there anything that you're super excited for? I mean, we're just a couple of guys. Our opinions mean nothing. At the end of the day, do what makes you happy. If it makes you happy to crack some packs and hopefully break even, then go for it. Um, so with that, you guys have anything else you want to add?
No.
Nothing. Yeah, no.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. If you do enjoy these kind of videos, we'll try and do some more. Um, I do plan on putting out some more Commander content in the future. It's hard with scheduling. I have two kids. Dave has a kid. Matt works all the time, and
Matt has Trevor.
yep, he has Trevor and Joey. Got to
Yes.
babysit them guys. So yeah, if you guys like the video, comment. If you have anything specific you want to see, make sure to put it in the comments below. We're pretty much down to talk about anything Magic. We like talking about this kind of shit. So we have a lot of random conversations about cards and interactions and whatever. So yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
See you guys. Have a good one.
Bye.